Oh. 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 Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. Tomorrow night, I will be in Washington, D.C., facilitating a workshop on finding sadhana in being busy. Finding sadhana in being busy. This is an interesting title because these are contradictions. If one is engaged in sadhana, disciplines, practices towards self-development, then one will not feel busy. If you feel you are busy, then I'm challenging you. You may be implementing, but that intention in your implementation to be better, to be bigger is not there. What I will share with all of these evolving adults, this is mostly those between the age of 25 and 45. What I will share with them is they should start by listening more. The sadhana that one should engage in to be less busy, to be more engaged, is listening. Different words for that are satsanga, shravana. Today we complete 1,020 days of meaningful mornings. Calculated out, this is 306 hours of sharing that we've been able to listen to so that we don't feel busy. In Bhagavad Gita's chapter 14, this chapter has one of the most dense amount of frameworks. There's lots and lots and lots of references, gauges, measurements. I'm going to chart out for you verses 14 to 18, starting with sattva. In the verses that Sri Krishna is speaking out, he's always starting with sattva so that we know what our potential is. In verse 14, Sri Krishna is describing if one is sattvic, they're filled with quietness, the field they will be reborn into is amalan. And you have to go back to catch these words. I'm just charting it out. In verse 15, in this field, as one goes about living, the results that one will get is nirmala. Amala, nirmala. These results will change one's unconscious to be jnana. Verses 14 and 15, I apologize. Verse 14 just talks about sattva. 15, 16 talks about raja. Okay? And Dhamma. So the field one will be born into is Amala. The result will be Nirmala. One's unconscious will become Jnana. And one's subconscious will be Urdhva, meaning one will feel uplifted comparatively. Those who are filled with Raja, or aggressiveness, their field will be Karma. And in this field, as they're engaging in that new birth, their results will be Dukkha. This result will change their unconscious to be Lobha, and this will express in their subconscious. What they will feel when they wake up is Madhya. That means they are not evolving, but they're aging. It's another day. Those who are filled with Dhamma, that is laziness, the field they will be born into is Mudha. In that field, as they go about engaging, their result will be Ajnana. This will change their unconscious to be Pramada, and this will express in their subconscious, in their inner world, as Adha, which means devolving or dejected. Okay? This is verses 14 to 18, Shri Krishna sharing about the field, the result, what happens to your unconscious, your subconscious. What is to be noted in what I'm sharing, in this dissection, is that this is cyclical. How you are born, this is going to impact how you live. How you live is going to impact how you die, which is going to impact how you are born. This is a cycle. Another word for such a cycle is samsara. And so, if you're really feeling threatened by this, really feeling moved by this, one needs to be systematic in changing their subconscious. This is to be expressed in the conscious so that the unconscious also is affected. Your guna is to be aligned with your karma. It changes your varna. Anyone who is serious about self-development does not engage in this self-development casually, is not a spiritual shopper. I listen to some discourses here, I visit these teachers here, but rather their immersion is systematic in terms of their study, in terms of their trust triangle. Let me give you one more feeling at a subconscious level for you to know what is your inner world like, and if you're growing. Those who are filled with Dhamma, they are easily provoked. An outside force comes in and they're provoked by this. Those who are filled with Raja are easily motivated. An outside force comes in and they feel better, bigger, but as soon as that force moves, they come back to who they were. A lot of us are like that in our retreats, our yatras, our courses. In sight, in mind. Out of sight, out of mind. Those who are filled with sattva are easily inspired. It is not an outside force anymore. It is coming from inside that they feel better, bigger. But there's one more experience in this framework. Past being inspired is being transformed. Transformed, where such a being is the one who's inspiring others. Such a being can no longer be called a human who has gunas or conditions. This is where Sri Krishna is now taking us. A lot has been explored about the gunas, tama, raja, sattva. Now, what about the person who is atita, who is the master of the gunas rather than the slave of the gunas? Verse 19. Nanyam gunebhyah kartaram yada drashtanupashyati gunebhyascha param veti madbhavam sodigacchati. Joy. Na anyam, there is no other, gunebhyaha, then the guna, kartaram, that is the doer. There is no other doer other than the gunas, these conditions. An insight into this. If there is doing, and we feel lots of doing, thinking, speaking, etc., this doing can only be assigned to that which is changing. Changing and doing are synonymous. So now if we think of the fuller spectrum, existence, awareness, joy is not changing, which means existence, awareness, joy is not the doing. The qualities, the ropes, the gunas are comprehensively changing, and so they are doing. Shri Krishna has shared this thought many times in many chapters, that the sense organs, like your ears and your mouth, they're playing with sense objects, like music and food. Both the sense organs and the sense objects are comprised of the gunas. So what we call living, that I'm doing, is really a play, a leela of the gunas. Yada, that is, drashta, for a seer, anupashyati, a seer who knows this, who feels this. For most, they feel they're the doer doing. But for a seer, one who lives by insight, they know they are not the doer, and so they're not affected by this doing. Some insights into this. The word is not pashyati, but anupashyati. It is not seeing, but rather vision. Shri Krishna's implication here is sattva feels like quietness. Shuddha sattva, that's a more intense sattva, feels like stillness. Vishuddha sattva, that is the highest grade of sattva, feels like silence. When one is silent in their inner world, they come to have the vision of God's world. You can't do joy. You can only be joy. So Shri Krishna is trying to purge these identifications with doing, doership. Third quarter, gunebhyaha, from the guna, param, higher, veti, knows. The one who knows that there is more than the gunas, more than doing. Now, for all of us, we all know this, but only some of us feel this. We all know there is that which is beyond the gunas, but do you feel this? Giving you another framework. Those who are filled with laziness, they nourish their IQ. If you think of high school, college, your work, really you're following the path of least resistance, right? Everyone's going to college to get a degree. Everyone's going to work to make money. So I do it too. Our kids watch a show. It's called The Grizzly and Lemmings. Sometimes I think about how humans are actually lemmings. They just follow peer pressure. Those who are filled with raja, they nourish, I'm sorry, I said it wrongly. Those who are filled with tama, they don't nourish any intelligence, no Q. Those who are rajasic, they nourish their IQ. Those who are filled with quietness, they shift their priority to their EQ, their emotional intelligence. But there is an intelligence that is more than EQ. Those who know there's more than emotions, know there's more than sattva, they nourish their SQ, their spiritual intelligence. That's what this quarter is talking about. This veti, this knowing, is not about IQ or EQ. It is about SQ. Madbhavam, my being, that is Sri Krishna, saha, such a seeker, adigachati, they rediscover. The language in these verses is very particular. In the previous verse, tama patati, they fall. Raja tishtati, they stand. Sattva gachati, they rise. Now the word is adigachati. Shri Krishna is not casual about any of his teachings of the language. This is rising above rising, meaning one has transcended the gunas. In Sanskrit, the word is atita. Madbhavam, Shri Krishna is not describing himself as Prince Arjuna's cousin. He's also not describing himself as divinity. He is sharing Madbhavam is infinity. The one who has gone past the gunas also means they've gone past Maya, which means they've also gone past Mayapati. Madbhavam is they rediscover Brahma. I am infinite. From inspiration to application, your application yesterday was to chart out your introspection, detection, negation, substitution. An observation of mine is that a lot of people have the weakness of being cranky. And the substitution to be cranky is sattva, being quiet or thoughtful. The reason for your crankiness is you. Your application for this morning is, if you were to facilitate tomorrow night's workshop on finding sadhana in being busy, what would be the second step you would advise? The first step is listen. What's the second step? Shanti, shanti, shanti. Be joy.